Hey, it's Jen, the Holistic Health Boss, your functional diagnostic health coach and personal training expert. And I'm still talking to you guys about thyroid this week because I realized that the last few weeks I've been talking about thyroid. And it just occurred to me that with all this talk about thyroid, I've kind of been under the assumption that maybe you already knew that you had a thyroid condition, but you actually have no idea whether or not you have a thyroid condition, or you're not connecting the dots that might be telling you that you do. And you may be thinking that all of these emails that I've been sending out to you don't pertain to you, but that's not true. So let's spend the next couple of minutes kind of figuring out whether or not you might potentially have a thyroid condition or something going on with your thyroid and what you can do about it. So the first question I want to ask you is, have you been accumulating random symptoms over time? And if you don't know what that means, let me explain a little bit. So it's assumed that as we get older, we naturally age and our body starts to break down, and we notice this breakdown happening. We have more aches and pains, we get sick more often, and things start shifting in our body. So one of the signs that you might be accumulating symptoms is some of the things that you might be telling yourself. So maybe you're just saying that I'm just getting older, or you might be telling yourself that it runs in my family, or my body's just not the same as it used to be, or this is happening because I've reached, the age of 30 or the age of 40 or the age of 50. And we're just making the assumptions that because we're getting older, it's natural for us to not feel as great anymore. Well, that's not necessarily true. That's oftentimes these symptoms of aging can actually be linked to things like a thyroid condition or adrenal dysfunction or other health issues that are going on within your body. So some examples of the most commonly overlooked thyroid symptoms that I see that people accumulate over time and that they actually have, like these are, if you look up like hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism or Hashimoto's, you'll see the list of symptoms on there, and these are actually really common symptoms. So things like unexplained weight gain or weight loss, or weight that just won't budge no matter what you're doing. You're working out, eating right, taking care of your body, it just won't budge. Also, fatigue that lasts all day long, even after you've had maybe a really good night's sleep, like fatigue that just won't go away, and it takes you out in the middle of the afternoon. Lapses in memory, or feeling like you can't remember things, like kind of like you're in a fog, like things are unclear all the time. Either coarse, brittle, dry hair, or hair loss. Like this is actually, especially for women, or actually anybody, if you're missing the outer third portion of your eyebrow. So if you thought, oh, I just overplucked or overwaxed my eyebrows, if you're missing that outer third portion, that is very indicative of a thyroid issue actually. And brittle nails also, if your nails are constantly breaking, you can't grow them past a certain length, that would be an indication of a thyroid issue. Now let's see what else. Indigestion that has accumulated over time. So if you have like heartburn or indigestion that either you never had and all of a sudden you have it, or it's gotten worse over time, that can be also associated with a thyroid issue, as well as an increase in joint aches and pains, especially if like you're having a hard time recovering from your workouts. And that's probably like a really common one that most people are like, oh, I'm just getting older, so it must be just old age. And so you can see how these are very common things that most of us experience through our lifetime, and we could be ignoring them or taking medications for them and not realizing that it's actually linked to something bigger. So I have a free thyroid symptom checker for you guys to basically assess yourself and see how impacted your thyroid might be, and you just don't know it because you think that these symptoms are related to aging or something else going on in your life. So I want you to download the free thyroid symptom checker that I have. You can either download it here in the blog, or you can go back to the email and click on it from there, and you're going to go ahead and assess yourself. And while you're doing this, you're going to be able to see symptoms that you have in other categories or other body systems as well. So like in this symptom checker, there's going to be a category called endocrine function, and endocrine function or system is where your thyroid lives basically. Your endocrine function also is in charge of your pancreas and regulating your insulin levels as well as your ovarian hormones. So these are how some of the symptoms can also be connected. A great example is one of the clients that I've worked with, Tanya, and she was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which is a type of thyroid disorder, and then she started having menstrual irregularities once they started treating her for the Hashimoto's. Well, that's because thyroid is housed within the endocrine system, and the endocrine system also is in charge of our ovarian hormones. So as they started treating one aspect of it, it actually imbalanced some of the other pieces, and this can be very, very common. So you can have all of these weaving or interlocked systems. You may be going to your doctor for treatment for one thing, when in actuality it could be the root cause. The root cause could be your thyroid potentially. So, and everything in the body works back and forth. So if you originated with a thyroid issue, like maybe you have an underactive or overactive thyroid, or you have a genetic predisposition to having a thyroid issue, if that thyroid is off, then it's sending signals back into the body that can create imbalances in other places through what I talked about recently, the HPA axis, or the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. So this can impact adrenal fatigue, it can impact other hormones. On the reverse of that, if you have adrenal fatigue or if you're having imbalances in other areas of the body, those are sending signals that then can affect thyroid that can cause it to be underactive or overactive. So when I work with clients and we talk about thyroid, they may come to me knowing that they have a thyroid issue, and we're always going to look at the whole body to see exactly like what are the other factors or variables impacting that. On the flip side of that, if they come to me experiencing other things and we come across a thyroid issue, then that's one of the clues in the puzzle on how we look at the overall body to decide what is the big picture of what's happening here and how do we put support in place to help the body rebalance it. So again, you guys can go ahead and download that free thyroid symptom checker. You can evaluate yourself not only in the endocrine system, but also those other systems of the body to see like where you have overlapping or interconnected symptoms that are just kind of replicating or representing metabolic chaos. And how you go about restoring balance is by eating the right diet, getting optimal rest, doing adequate exercise and the right kind of exercise for your body, reducing overall stress in your lifestyle, and then proper supplementation in order to support the body where it needs it most. So I hope that was really helpful for you guys. And one last thing that I'll tell you about is if you're not sure if you have a thyroid issue, but you know that you have some of these symptoms, or once you do this free thyroid symptom checker and you have reason to be concerned, or you want to go ahead and test your thyroid, I am offering a special introductory thyroid test offer now until August 11th. There's a limited 10 spots available for this, where I'm going to do a comprehensive thyroid test on you. It's a blood test where we'll be able to look at all of the critical markers of your thyroid. And then you get a 90-minute results review and recommendation session with me, where I go through interpreting the results for you to evaluate your actual thyroid health. And then I give you personalized recommendations for your diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and supplementation to help you either maintain or improve the health of your thyroid. So again, you guys can click on the links below in the blog here or in the video, and then also you can hop back over to the email if that's where you came from to click on those links as well. And remember, that offer ends August 11th and it's limited to 10 spots of availability. So I hope you guys found this helpful again, and have a great week, and I'll see you next Thursday.